You also performed Zoe, of course.
Yes.
And what was it like to develop this brand new character?
It was very challenging because the puppet didn't already exist. Basically, I was given the job of coming up with this character, and when I first looked at the puppet, she has a very wide mouth. So for a while, when I was fiddling around with her, I was kind of doing a bad Carol Channing accent, because Carol talks like that with her very wide mouth. And that just, I couldn't keep that up, and it just didn't feel like a cute little girl to me. So, as with all of these things, you fool around and you try different things. And I worked with her in a mirror, and then I improvised, and I went to, preschools and observed 3-year-olds and kind of stole little ideas from the children and from my friends' children. And, Zoe kind of told me who she was. When I would improvise with her, I would just find that things came out of my mouth. And I just tried to be open to what she was saying and open to how she was behaving. So I always feel that these puppets really are not inanimate. They have a spirit, they have a soul, and you just sort of let them tell you who they are.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, in the old days, I shouldn't even say the old days, but in the old days, nobody would even put their hand in somebody else's puppet. It felt like you were violating them. This was this sacrosanct object. And you felt strange if you were the one sticking your hand in.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I guess that's it.
One of my favorite things about Zoe is Rocco.
Oh, I love Rocco.
Can you talk about him a little bit?
Yeah, well, Joey Mazzarino, who's now our head writer and a very talented writer and puppeteer, everything. He's like a quadruple threat at this point. Joey, he's got crazy ideas for shows, and he came up with this rock called, very imaginatively, Rocco. I'm sure Zoe named her. And Rocco was Zoe's pet. Not a hamster, not a gerbil, not a cat. She got a rock. And of course, he is just a rock. But Zoe talks to the rock and kind of manipulated Elmo into doing things because, she would just say, well, this is what Rocco wants to do. And for a while, everybody loved it because it brought out this whole other dimension in Elmo. Mm-hmm. Instead of him being so sweet all the time, you could see him get a little frustrated. And Kevin can do this wonderful thing with the Elmo puppet where the eyes kind
of I love that, where the eyes scrunch in.
Somehow he has made that rather hard head do that. So he would do a lot of that, and everybody thought it was really funny. And then we've done fewer of those shows because one of the mucky mucks at the top, in the board or whatever of Sesame Street, executive office or something, said, I don't know if this is great to bring this side of Elmo out. So, I don't know,
Wow.
We kind of disagreed, but
I disagree with
I
that
know.
too.
I think it's better to be funny and have these characters be more faceted. So hopefully there will be more Rocco shows, but she was always doing that with Elmo.
Yeah.
It became too much of a good thing, let's say.
Oh, I loved it. I just have some random questions.
Sure.
If you had to choose a personal assistant, would you choose Prairie Dawn or Scooter?
Wow. If me, Fran, would have to choose... Oh, Prairie Dawn, because she's so anal. Oh, totally Prairie Dawn. Prairie Dawn is very, very precise. She's obviously that sort of part of me, because, she grew from being this very docile little girl playing piano at the pageants to being assertive and self-assured and very much an A-type personality. And in fact, when I saw the movie Election, did you ever see that with Reese Witherspoon?
Yeah.
I just said to myself, they ripped off Prairie Dawn. She was playing Prairie Dawn as if Prairie Dawn was, 17 years old instead of 6. And I think Prairie Dawn will someday, she already, produces, directs, does the lighting, the choreography, and someday I think she will run the network.
Well, so one can only hope.
Right.
What sort of mileage does the Zoe mobile get?
Very little, unfortunately. I think probably maybe a a quarter of a mile. It's mostly the prop men. They are the gas to the Zoe mobile. I just lie there like I'm in a coffin, like Sarah Bernhardt. And I have this tiny little monitor, like the kind that Carol Spinney wears, attached to my chest. It's a really awkward position with my hand up through the automobile. But I'm completely on my back. And the prop people just, they have a line and the guys just pull me.
What was it like working with Jon Stewart in Elmo-Palooza with Prairie?
Yes. I've now worked with him at least one more time, too. But, he's great. First of all, I'm a huge fan.
Me too.
I mean, I tape The Daily Show and Stephen Colbert every day, and then I watch it on my treadmill and stuff. I can't get enough of him. I think he's so brilliant. I hope he runs for office when he gets out of all this, because he's a really bright guy. And Stephen Colbert, it's hard to even say he's better. But anyway, he was great. He was, of course, not Jon Stewart then. He was just Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
But he was wonderful, and he and Prairie got along great. And, he's super. I met him then again at the Peabody Awards. I was doing Cammy. Do you know about Cammy?
Yeah.
The HIV positive South African puppet that I do. And Cammy was there, I don't know, probably being the champion of children anyway. And so my picture was taken with John and Cammy, and I said, "Do you remember me, John? We did Elmo-Palooza." And he said, "Oh yeah, of course." So he was great.
That's great. All right, this one's kind of heavy, but what does Sesame Street mean to you?
Oh gosh, I think it's probably one of the more wonderful places to work. One of the best things about it is that, I'll give you an example. All of us puppeteers were lying in a heap on the studio floor one day. We were shooting a huge number, probably one of the opening shows, where every human who's on Sesame Street, I mean the human characters as opposed to the puppet characters, was on. Almost all the puppeteers, plus extraneous puppeteers that they pulled in for like a big crowd scene. The crew, people from the production office, everybody's on the set. And the puppeteers are lying in a heap, and I look around me, and there's at least one of everything you could possibly find in the human race. Every race, gender, whatever. And I thought, and we're all working together, and I thought, God, this is what the world is supposed to be, where you are only judged by who you are as a person and how well you do the job, and nobody thinks about what color are they Asian, are they black, whatever. And that, to me, is the nicest part of Sesame Street. It truly is an equal opportunity employer. And it's a wonderful world unto itself. And also, you're doing a job that affects so many people, and at a really important time in their life, which is, when they're first growing up. It's a very impressionable age. So I'm really happy, because there's a lot of things that I've done in my life, but my husband always says to me, well, he said it once, but I always remember it, is that of all the things I've done, he is proudest of the fact that I have, spent so much time being a Muppet on Sesame Street.
All right. Well, here's my last question.
Okay.
Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?
Take the subway. I would say take the 1 train going north. It's somewhere up there.
Somewhere over there.
It's somewhere up there, yes. It's a brownstone, somewhere close to Harlem.
If I see an 8'2" yellow bird, I've hit it.
Yes. And don't kill the bird.
Okay, I promise. All right. Well, thank you very much, Fran.
Thank
it was
you,
great.
Ryan. They were great questions.
Thank you.